you know, I did seriously believe, I used to read the Bible. Mind you, there are good stories in some parts of the Bible, I have to say that. I'd still say that to this day. When I say good, incidentally, I mean exciting and riveting, not necessarily good in their content, always. Uplifting or whatever. Some of the most awful violence takes place in some of these stories, but they're quite interesting stories nevertheless. However, you may still find me listening on Christmas Eve to the Festival of Nine Lessons and Carols from King's College, Cambridge. I don't have to believe a word of it, but I like the music.
Who's next?
Can I add to that a bit?
Well, if no one else has got anything.
The other point is that you've got the other extreme. I was thinking of Harry Snell, who was brought up virtually in poverty in a Nottinghamshire farmer's labourer's son. And he left school, I think, around about the age of 7, ended up as a pot boy. He stood first in the market at Newark for employment, was taken on as a farm servant and ended up as a pot boy in a Nottingham pub. And he became secretary of the local Social Democratic Federation, or whatever they call themselves then. And then also secretary of the local National Secular Society branch. And he wrote a pamphlet on the existence of God, which he flatly denies that any form of God existed. Yet he moved to London and promptly became involved with the Fabians and rose up, I think, to be an Under Secretary of State for India or something like that, with a seat in the House of Lords and all sorts of things. Do you think the possibility is that some of these people sort of again departmentalise, they start looking down at other people and start putting their own social, I don't mean socialist, social interest take prominence so that they throw out their earlier beliefs? Because in his autobiography, I think, Men, Movements and Myself, he flatly denies he was ever an atheist, presumably in the hope that nobody ever knew this little pamphlet was published at a penny and sold on the Nottingham Market Square for the benefit of the National Secular Society's local branch library. It's so scarce that even the Central Library in Nottingham only has a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy, and it's almost impossible to read it. It has in fact been reprinted in the past year and published. Somebody went to all the trouble, Terry Liddell in London, went to all the trouble of typing it out, and it's now being republished. But it makes one wonder why people lose their belief and then sort of revert to it. Snell became involved himself with the ethical movement and became one of the regular speakers of the Self-Ethical Society in Cornwall. His name appears in the foyer there. But I mean, so he's the antithesis of Abbas Salam. He was one that became a total unbeliever and made no bones about it, yet sort of then reversed his position and tried to put himself out as a sort of a reverend agnostic, as I think Herbert Cutler used to term them.
I mean, I couldn't give you any enlightenment on that. Maybe somebody else will know more about it than me.
So Bernard Lovell, who obviously dealt with all these cosmos things and that, he used to attend the church and obviously professed to be a religious man and so on. And I just think people like that, who obviously know how a lot of things work, I don't think they actually believe it, but I think the social position has quite a lot to do with it. It gives them a social status. But if you take the other side of it, well, I've watched the programme on the TV, and there's not a bit light, you know, and letting it be light as it were, but this priest made the point that he demonstrated that the rainbow can be created, you know, type of thing. And he demonstrated that there was a real sunshine come in, and he put a spray up, and of course it would show a rainbow, and that type of thing. Of course, this raises the whole question that was there ever rainbows before this particular day when God made a promise, sort of thing, you see? And he sort of says, well, you know, obviously there's lights have always been there and the water's always been there, so there must have been rainbows pretty well constantly there, and they didn't just suddenly appear. Of course, he wasn't exactly given any great honours for the church or question, or bringing into question this particular feature of a rainbow. So you've always got to be a bit careful about what you're saying as far as the church is concerned. And as we know, Galileo and people like that had to keep their mouth shut for quite a wee while. For things nowadays are accepted. So there's people with power there who usually use the threat, you know, if you weren't going to agree with them.
Sandy?
Well, Galileo, of course, is an interesting case because his position was that his discoveries or whatever were not. He didn't want them to be thought of being in contradiction to Scripture. It was a question of how you interpreted Scripture. If you've read the book, and I've sort of heard it accepted on the radio, Galileo's daughter, it goes into, he wrote letters to his daughter who was a nun, you know, talking about some of this stuff. He didn't want himself seen as a sort of iconoclast of religion, necessarily. For him it was a question of interpretation, though, you know, I accept that this is what some of these people think, but it's quite difficult to deploy this concept of interpretation in some cases. I mean, when it says in the Bible that Joshua stopped the sun, that is a fairly, you know, that's a fairly unequivocal statement, and it would fit in with the beliefs about the sun's position in the heavens, as it were, in those days. So, you know, how are we to proceed from that point? You know, as people get more knowledge, somehow they go back and reinterpret for the 94th time you know, these stories. It does sort of stretch your credulity a bit, really. I accept that Galileo was probably sincere about his position, but he was in a bit of a pickle, perhaps.
Howard and then Simon.
Sandy, I wonder if you can account for something. If you look at sort of religion, the old religions, you know, the Catholicism, Protestantism, Judaism and so on, in their what you might call conventional forms, they are sort of losing out quite dramatically. No doubt about that. But there is a big increase, so we're told, in these what you might call extreme forms of religion. You know, these fundamentalist sects of Christianity, ultra-Orthodox Judaism, without even mentioning fundamentalist Islam, which can be accounted for in ways which probably aren't too difficult. But what about these other religions in the advanced world, if you like, which are apparently gaining significant ground at the same time as the more conventional religions are sort of, you know, losing out quite badly?
Part of that might be that you've got the conventional forms of these religions have had to sort of try accommodating themselves in some way to other branches of knowledge, and to the fact that they, you know, for a number of different social reasons, are no longer quite in the position that they were in. I mean, Charles Darwin, without particularly intending to, probably kicked the feet under conventional church Christianity quite effectively. Him and Wallace, indeed, probably did the same thing, although neither of them may have